Resolving stories comes in 3 parts. Part A, B, and C. A is this video introduction discussing phases 1, 2, and 3, which consists of group work appraisal and discusses some of the main findings of the phase 4 individual submission. This should be viewed first. Part B is a written document which acts as an appendix to Part C. This is the appraisal of phases 1, 2, and 3 and should be viewed in conjunction with Part C. Part C is the technical exploration, which is the culmination of the development in phases 1, 2, and 3. This will have references to Part B and should be viewed in conjunction with each other. Resolvent is a mining town and is bonded by the stories of the past, but without the appropriate architectural facilities for these stories to live on. The story of the past comes from the form of the struggle against the shutting down of the mines in the 1980s without the means to support the mining communities who essentially lose their livelihood. In protest against the closing of the mines, the town of Resolvent held the largest soup kitchens within the very welfare miners' building. The theatre on the first floor kept the soup kitchens alive till money and momentum ran short, and slowly the mining generation became only a memory shared through stories from miners' wives, children, and relatives. This forgetting of the mining community is evidence to neglect the standing community building faces, and the lack of economic viability of the town. But these stories that were the foundations of the town also provides the means to bond generations together for the future. Having understood the building blocks of the town, it is easy to see how social interactions exist today. Regardless of an elderly population, through a survey, feeling of loneliness has seemed to decrease. This is due to many clubs that exist and events that take place within the heart of the town. Stakeholders of the miners' wives group, the orchestra, the theatre, school group, the running club, keep events such as the carnival, football matches, and live performances alive. However, many of these events are underfunded and without much space. The brief is to revive Resolvent Miners' Welfare Building, and through the analysis of Resolvent's history, one can understand the integral role that the storytelling has within this place. The aim of my architectural intervention for the community is seen through the lens of the cwtch, a Welsh traditional term for a hug and a cosy space within a Welsh home. A cwtch is a place where people feel welcomed, homely, and at ease to speak about difficult topics, or easy topics whilst they read. But one can redefine the meaning of cwtch. It can host many forms of interactions which inspire storytelling, meetings, talks, lectures, plays, or even music performances. The cwtch is a multifunctional space, and so it becomes the architectural support to the social interactions that exist already within the context. And this cwtch becomes the bed from which the town becomes economically resilient and socially diverse, attracting a wider public of speakers and storytellers. During Phase 2, there was a clear connection of the existing library space, primary school, and church. The main aims were to create a space for reading as a supporting library, performance space with a better functioning stage on the ground floor, renovation of the first floor theatre space, education in the small medium enterprises offices and workshop rooms, and finally the opening up of the kitchen dining space to better connect the outdoor market and community gardening area with the interior catering spaces. Upon appraisal of the Phase 2 design, we can clearly see the areas of improvement needed. In terms of form, it was not clear why the organic form was chosen in revolt against the existing typology of the town houses. It was also a difficult form to work with, which didn't bring enough value for design, as CLT is very difficult to curve and there would have been a lot of expenses on a not so exciting extension. The proposal failed to establish a landmark to improve funding and improve tourism, and failed to tectonically respond to the existing failing fabric. Instead, a lot of the budget went into smaller spaces, where the wayfinding arch doorways design failed to create a simpler journey for the older demographic. In terms of economic appraisal, our analysis did not take into consideration the tectonic innovation within the curved CLT body of the extension also. Overall, there were some well-liked aspects of the Phase 2 proposal, such as the concept of storytelling as an integral part of the town, the opening up of the interior space for the permeable light penetration, and the playful nature of the books on the walls, the window seats, and the creation of small nooks and crannies for accidental encounters. Furthermore, the ramps and the identification of the level change was commended, as was the exploration of the cwtch. The group submission in Phase 2 places great emphasis on homely materials, acoustic curtains to create multifunctional rooms, the exploration of roof and skylights to create the required atmospherics, and these explorations are to be taken forward into the Phase 3, where a set of two images inspire the methodological approach to the new Kutch spaces. Phase 3 explores one Kutch space in depth, and themes of having a sensory experience as well as creating a home within the green spaces which exist within Resolven becomes the retelling of what once was the mines, the modern representation of where the stories came from, and the show of how one can retell them within the current times. Phase 4 is the accumulation of the appraisal of phases 1, 2, and 3. It starts with the initial critiques of the lack of structural clarity in response to the existing building, as this is a retrofit project. The roof becomes the focus for my design development. The roof becomes the chimney of the building, which aims to support the existing, helps achieve the atmospherics through lighting for the multifunctional spaces, and aid ventilation and heating strategies, as well as become a landmark to improve funding for the building and tourism.